My amendment would very simply prohibit the use of funds in this legislation from being used to transfer detainees at Guantanamo Bay to their country of origin or any foreign country. There are two main reasons why this amendment is necessary, both related to the President's action in trading 5 senior Taliban commanders for Private Bo Bergdahl. First, he has proven that Section 1035 of the National Defense Authorization Act is inadequate. And second, we need to review the conditions of release of the Taliban 5. On the first point, this Congress granted the President last year expanded authority to release detainees from Guantanamo Bay conditioned on 30 days' notice to the Congress, as well as certain other conditions. The President abused that authority by releasing the Taliban 5 without notification, even to the so-called Gang of 8, the senior leaders of both parties in both chambers, the senior leaders of both intelligence committees in both chambers.
Committee will be in order. Committee will be in order. Gentleman from Arkansas.
The President, having duly signed the National Defense Authorization Act into law with those restrictions and then did not obey those restrictions, yet did not claim his core Article 2 constitutional powers to override them. Therefore, it is imperative on our institution to reclaim on principle our constitutional authority. Second, the Taliban 5 have been released into the country of Qatar. We need to take a year to review the conditions of those release. As many of you have seen, they appear to be moving about freely in the country of Qatar without any restrictions on their movement, absent the requirement that they remain in Qatar. This would allow them, senior commanders, remind you, to communicate freely with Taliban on the battlefield against our troops in Afghanistan. We should be able to take a year to see if such conditions are adequate to support the release of such hardened terrorist commanders. What does this amendment not do? This is not a permanent ban on transfers of detainees from Guantanamo Bay, nor does it authorize indefinite detention. It simply says we'll take a one-year pause to evaluate the conditions under which 5 senior Taliban commanders were released and to reassert our constitutional prerogatives. Who are these detainees? They are not goat herders who are innocently swept up by the American military, nor are they foot soldiers or couriers. These are the worst of the worst, 149 hardened terrorists, which Joint Task Force Guantanamo Bay says 120 of are high risk to return to the battle. In fact, just this week, a former Guantanamo Bay detainee was arrested in Spain, recruiting for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, the terrorist group that is currently rampaging through both Syria and Iraq. I urge my colleagues to support this amendment, stand up for your honor as a co-equal branch, stand up for our national security, stand up for the safety of your constituents. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman.